Hi guys, welcome to another Movie Cruise special. Today we'll be giving our bottom 5 movies of 2024 so far.
To check our all and strange thought on these movies, please check our channel down below.
Let's get into our thoughts, guys.
Bottom 5, number 5, for me, this was a real tough one, but Bob Marley. I'm a huge musical lover. I love everything music. And this biopic was just, it did not hit for me. And it might be a bit harsh putting it in my bottom 5, but had to be there. It just didn't connect at all with this movie. Number 4 was Challenges. You know what? I have to give a shout out to all our comments in that review and outside thoughts on that review. You've pulled it up a little bit for me. For me, it still was a bad movie, but you know what? It gave me a little bit of different perspective to shine on the movie. So that's why it's my number 4. Number 3, Argyle. Really? I don't have much to say about this movie. It was a real hunk of crap. And just, yeah, terrible. And number 2, Drive-Away Dolls. Just for me, this is going to be harsh. A nothing movie. Don't know. Not much to say really. And the worst movie, just Madam Web. I've said enough about this movie. Everyone said enough. I'm done. Thank you.
Hi guys, this is my bottom 5 films for 2024 so far. In the number 5 spot, we have Demon Slayer to the Hushuran Training. This was quite a disjointed film, one of the 1.5 films that anime is doing recently. We've seen that with other films this year in reviews that you will have seen. It's a bridge between seasons, and it really was disjointed in the fact that it told many stories in chapters, and it wasn't really an enjoyable watch. I didn't really find anything of value. Unless you've seen the series and are devoted to it, I think it's very hard to follow. And even somebody who had seen that series still didn't rate it that highly, so that's why it landed in my number 5 spot. Number 4 goes to our spider female friend, Madam Web. What a terrible sci-fi and comic book film. It was just not interesting. There were some redeeming qualities, Sydney Sweeney being one of them, but even she couldn't save this film. So I don't really have much more to say on it other than next time you pick a villain, make sure he's got the correct accent and the story makes a bit more sense. Going into our number 3 spot, we have Imaginary. This was one of the films that me and Moon reviewed, horror film for the first time this year, and it was really horrific to watch in terms of my imagination. It just really bored me. It wasn't something that scared me at all. It doesn't really do what a horror film does. It's just a bunch of jump scares wrapped up in a Blumhouse production. I really think that if done properly, it could have been actually terrifying, but sadly, that's the film we got. In the number 2 spot, we got Challenges. So, I really didn't enjoy this film, but it was a coherent story in some respects, and even though it wasn't interesting, made a modicum of sense, and had some kind of necessary story to tell. Other than that, the camera work was really poor and used a lot of jumping and action shots to try and make this film a bit more spicy. I mean, they used in the marketing that the tennis is the sex of the movie. Well, why isn't the sex of the movie? But it makes no sense when you have a love triangle as the main purpose of the film. But I guess with this kind of film, you'll come out of it deaf from the soundtrack, and there's not much else that I can say because you won't be able to hear me after you watch it. Taking number 1 spot is probably the worst film that I saw for this part of 2024. Something that I really wouldn't watch again. Drive-Away Dolls. It really was a silly film that sold itself as a Coen experience. Don't think you're going to see something intellectual. It is so silly. And especially when you get halfway through the film and you see what's in the case, you'll understand why this isn't worth your time. It was just not enjoyable in terms of the actual story plot, and the villains were very stupid. The whole reason for the film even being in existence made no sense. So they're my bottom 5 films for 2024 so far. Thanks.
So bottom 5, number 5, sorry John, Garfield. Really boring. I said something about my review. I don't even remember what the movie was all about. Stale movie. I don't know nothing about Garfield, and I didn't know anything about Garfield. It was such a chore to watch this movie. Number 4, Imaginary. The only, I think, horror movie we have reviewed in the movie crew was Imaginary, and it turned out such a bad movie. Jeff Wadlow constantly delivers making these god-awful horror movies. And I mean, he did make Truth or Dare, so my expectations were pretty low. But yeah, as I said in my review, they didn't use their imagination at all. Number 3, Madam Web. For me, comic book movies are getting a bit stale. Like the last one I remember really enjoyed was the Batman. Ever since, I think I enjoyed Guardians of Galaxy 3 too, but they don't hit anymore the same. And Madam Web is just one of the worst comic book movies ever. Only thing that sticks to my mind was the awful villain. I don't even remember why I hated him. I just know the acting was really bad in that movie, and the villain was so bad. Number 2, Drive Away Dolls. So I said in my top 5 that Love Lies Bleeding was a great movie, and Drive Away Dolls wished that it was that movie. So you have 2 characters and they fall in love, but in this movie, 2 characters fall in love, sort of, and all you see is a bunch of girls making out. And then you have the god-awful reveal, I would say. I don't know. The biggest reveal, I would say, because it sort of explains things, what happens in the movie. So this could be the worst script of this year, I'm not sure, but the talent behind this movie, especially the director and Margot Qualley, I was really hoping at least it would be a mid-movie, but I don't know why they keep making these movies. Number 1, no surprise here, Challengers. Alright, so yes, I have read a few of comments in our comment sections. People did defend the movie. Nothing will ever change my opinion. First of all, the worst soundtrack ever in any movie. I have rewatched other awful movies after watching Challengers, like The Room. I love it. And there is no redeeming quality I could find in Challengers. I'm literally scarred of watching this movie. People talk about art and whatever the other guy's name is, and how their love triangle is some sort of it deviates to something else. It has some background story. I just don't know. All I remember is people sweating a lot, and if sweating is your cup of tea, then you can just sip on that. I don't care. So I can't. I think this will go forever in the bottom of any list I've ever go. Challenges is just biggest hunk of crap I've seen. Thank you.
Thanks guys for watching the video. If you liked it, give us a like down below and subscribe to the channel to see what films we'll be watching for the rest of 2024. Ciao.